When Kelley Higney moved to Florida, she knew she'd face some challenges. She was a young mother in a new state. She was in a new house in a new town. But there was one problem she didn't expect: her daughter's severe reactions to mosquito bites. Kelley would watch helplessly as her 6-month-old daughter's limbs would swell just minutes after being bitten. After trying everything she could, every ointment, every gimmick, Kelley knew she was going to have to find an answer on her own. She did some research and found a solution in a strange little tube, a suction tool that could pull the venom and saliva out of the bite, stopping the allergic reaction before it even had the chance to start.
Started testing with just this one little sample I had purchased. Friends and family, everybody was getting similar reactions. And that's when I'm like, okay, maybe I'm onto something. I was able to get in touch with the factory. I pitched them my idea. I told them that every mom and everybody that was suffering here needed to know about this product because it was life-changing for me and my family.
Kelley had the solution to the problem, but she wanted to help others too. And as it turns out, she was onto something big. How did this mom turn her passionate search for answers into a multi-million-dollar idea? Find out on the journey. There are always exciting things happening in the world of small business. The news that grabs the headlines, though, are always the highlights: the overnight successes, the billion-dollar IPOs, the massive exits. But just like your Instagram feed, that's never the whole story. Let's look deeper than the headlines and press photos. Underneath all of that is the real work of building something valuable and lasting. Don't get me wrong, I love crazy success stories and can be drawn in by those big flashy tales just as much as the next person. But we all know that what's more important than the destination is how you get there. It's the struggles you have to overcome and the insights you learn along the way that make you who you are. So those are the stories we're telling. It's raw, it's honest, and maybe it's exactly what you need to hear. I'm Hillary Georgie, and this is The Journey. So, anyone who owns a small business knows what the difference between surviving and thriving feels like. And obviously, we all aim to thrive. That's why we're excited about our latest partnership with UPS. Our listeners know that whether you're moving your business online or getting into new markets or just trying to make things run faster and more efficiently, small businesses are up against a unique set of challenges. That's why UPS designed innovative tools just for small businesses that are made to help take you to the next level. Learn more about how UPS can get your small business moving forward at ups.com/pivot. Kelley is no stranger to the entrepreneurial world. Her entire family was made up of inventors, innovators, and business-minded people.
I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. My dad and my mom were both business owners. My grandmother was as well. So I grew up in an office. My earliest memories of that were answering phones and filing fishing catalogs as soon as I knew my alphabet. We were going to trade shows at least once a month to Las Vegas. I grew up in San Diego, California. I kind of just grew up in this different world outside of my normal school life.
From an early age, Kelley wanted to help people. She'd watched her parents solve problems her entire life and knew she wanted to be someone who could do the same for others.
I always wanted to be a teacher. I love kids. Fast forward, I actually was a preschool teacher in my former life. But as early as I can remember, I was always playing with dolls and teaching and always wanting to give somebody a piece of information that could be valuable in their life.
Kelley went to school to become a teacher, but found that life had other plans. She got pregnant and realized she needed to find answers to her own problems. How could she find a work-life balance? How could she find a way to build a career and a family at the same time? Luckily for Kelley, she had a family full of people willing to help her find answers to those questions, and eventually, she and her husband moved their family to Florida to be closer to this extended family. Kelley went to work with her mother, which helped solve some of the work-life balance problems that she was having. But new problems began to crop up. Kelley's daughter, just 6 months old, was being eaten alive by mosquitoes. What is only a nuisance for some people became a scary ordeal for Kelley, who tried every single product she could find to bring her daughter some relief.
A lot of her bites would turn into like skin infections. So I would have to get her on antibiotic creams and steroids. And I felt horrible and guilty. That's kind of what really pushed me to start doing research and trying to figure out what would work for me and my family.
Kelley's research led her to a possible answer that so many others had missed: a small plastic tool that suctioned the bite, taking out all of the toxins that caused the skin to react. It seemed too good to be true.
I started researching how other countries were combating insect bites, and I came across a suction tool, and it was being sold through some industrial first aid kits, really had no consumer awareness around the product. I was like, there's no way that's going to work, because if something so simple that's chemical free, that removes the saliva and venom from a bug bite to prevent the symptoms altogether, there's no way that's going to work.
Desperate to help her daughter, she wanted to give it a try anyway. So Kelley ordered one of the industrial kits herself, ready to be let down.
I always share the same story because it's true. Got a bug bite on the way to the mailbox, ironically, used the product, and I was just in complete shock. The itching, the pain, the swelling, everything on myself just completely went away. And when you have that moment, you're like, okay, well, that worked. There's no way it's going to work on everybody else. So I started testing. Obviously, my daughter, who was the one who prompted the whole search, tried it on her, completely eliminated the reaction. And she was my best test subject because she swells like golf ball size welts.
But despite the immediate success she was seeing with herself and her daughter, Kelley knew she had to test more people to see if the suction tool was as promising as it seemed.
So started testing with just this one little sample I had purchased. Friends and family, everybody was getting similar reactions. And that's when I'm like, okay, maybe I'm on to something.
Based on the results she was seeing, Kelley believed that this simple solution could be a game changer. So after making a small batch of prototypes, Kelley decided to try and sell some of them in a market she knew well, her daughter's school bake sales.
I started selling them at my daughter's bake sales, and it was insane. Once I could explain in person what the product was, what it did, and kind of the science behind it, it almost became an impulse item. People were willing to give it a chance. And during that period of time, I gathered so much critical feedback on the words I needed to teach the concept so people could understand the science behind it. Because again, trying to educate the world of a new concept is not really an easy task. So that was the beginning. And when I started getting tracked down at my daughter's preschool's parking lot during non-bake sale days, that's when I realized I might have a viable business to go all in.
So how did Kelley take a bake sale impulse buy and scale it into a multi-million-dollar success? Stay tuned to find out. I'm so excited that today's podcast is sponsored by UPS. One way to take your small business to the next level is to take it beyond these borders. And when you're ready, UPS International Shipping has your back. Expanding to new markets and reaching customers far and wide is easy. And you can forget about confusing customs paperwork because you'll have the power and support of the UPS logistics experts to help you conquer the world with confidence. And if you're a listener of this show, you know that confidence is key. Head to ups.com/pivot and use the code SOAR, SOAR, to save on your next global order with UPS International Shipping. Start here, go everywhere. Break into new markets and start reaching new customers with the help of UPS. Kelley had the idea, she had the product, and she had a small but loyal pool of customers at her daughter's school functions. Word of mouth was spreading, and people were literally searching Kelley out in parking lots. She saw some clear signals, and they were all saying the same thing. This business had the potential to move beyond her. But like with all startups, the risk was huge, and Kelley had a family to think about. Was this an idea worth betting their life savings on?
Once I proved my concept and I was getting tracked down in the parking lot, my husband and I made the decision that I was going to leave my mom's company and we were going to go all in with Bug Bite Thing. In order to do that and to make sure that we were secure, we ended up selling our house. That was the big leap that a lot of entrepreneurs go through. And we used some of that to stash to make sure we were okay and financially sound if this didn't work the way I envisioned. And the other stash was used to purchase our first big batch of inventory. It was $30,000 worth. It was a big, big investment for us. That was my life savings. That was everything we worked for. And it was terrifying. We went all in. And that's when I started to really strategize and figure out the feedback that I was getting and how I was going to launch it, market it, push it out there.
After securing the distribution rights to the product in the US, and after Kelley had a couple of failed iterations with the packaging, she decided to keep it simple. She named the product Bug Bite Thing and took it to market. And, as it turns out, the market was more than ready for her.
So it started picking up in the community, and on Facebook groups, somebody had name dropped the product, and a whole string of ladies in this mom group started chiming in. We bought one at the bake sale in Gardens. We got one at the farmer's market in Jensen. This was like right at the beginning of trying to figure out my plan, trying to launch this. I had just launched a website. I had just started social media marketing. It was right at the beginning. And a news reporter saw all these moms' comments and they said, "Is this a local mom?" They ended up DMing me, and CBS 12 News came to my house, my little rental house, that I was literally packing bug bite things in my kitchen. And they did a story, and it was Mother's Day weekend. And the next day after it aired, it got syndicated to over 30 news stations in the US. And I sold out of all of my inventory in like a week.
The business exploded seemingly overnight. Kelley and her family had to make some big changes in order to keep up with the demand. And Kelley needed help putting together all of the orders, which she was still shipping out herself.
I remember my husband laying out a whole little floor plan for the garage with little packing stations. My first person to help me after that transition was my hairdresser's daughter. She will always hold a special place in my heart. We started with just answering comments on social media. At the time, we were using Gmail. So imagine getting an influx of orders like that and then trying to figure out how to answer customers through Gmail. This is very grassroots. I had to figure out a lot of things along the way with limited funds, and we just kept trucking along.
As her business continued to grow, Kelley was attracting a lot of attention, including from some producers of the hit show Shark Tank. Appearing on the show could be huge for Bug Bite Thing, but Kelley was nervous and still just working mostly on her own. She needed reinforcements, so she went to the one person who she knew would be willing and able to bring Bug Bite Thing to the next level.
And at that point in my business, I felt like I needed my mother's help. If I was going to go on Shark Tank, I really wanted her 35 years experience to back me up and help me. She just has a wealth of knowledge. So she came back in. We got to go on Shark Tank. We had offers from all the sharks. It was incredible. Such a surreal, unforgettable experience. Lori Grenier offered us her golden ticket, which she only gives out one per season, which was super exciting. She's also a huge mosquito magnet. So we really, really resonated with her. So we ended up striking a deal with her. And at that point is when we moved into our first real facility. When we knew we were going to air on Shark Tank, we needed to get in and start preparing ourselves for the growth that was going to come with Shark Tank.
She was right to get ready, because as fast as Bug Bite Thing had taken off after that local news story, the explosive demand their small operation saw after airing on Shark Tank was hardly comparable. The company's growth has stretched far beyond what Kelley could have imagined when she was tucking orders into shipping boxes by herself in a garage, or explaining the suction tool over a table of brownies to another skeptical parent. Bug Bite Thing is now a household name, and it's in 25,000 retailers and 25 different countries. And along the way, Kelley has done the best she can to manage a growing family with the overwhelming success of the business, maintaining that work-life balance she initially moved to Florida to find. She schedules time for herself and her family, and she continues to lean on her mother's years of wisdom and experience.
I still talk to my mom now at this level. We talk every single day. bounce ideas off each other. She's my best sounding board that's non-judgmental. And she has been a huge asset for the growth of Bug Bite Thing.
And Kelley's mother isn't her only sounding board. From day one, Kelley found value in listening to her customers.
From the beginning, the consumer feedback has driven the brand and driven the product. It's life-changing for a lot of people, just like it was for myself. When you use it and you suffer from bug bites and it works on you, it's life-changing. You can enjoy the outdoors and you don't have to deal with going out and suffering and itching all night.
Bug Bite Thing started because Kelley was trying to solve the problem of her daughter's bug bites while also trying to find a balance between work and family. Now, as Bug Bite Thing has taken off, she has found a way to help millions of people beyond just her family. But Kelley knows there are so many more problems to solve, and she wants to take a crack at them.
We're really trying to build something really special and a community, and we want to educate people about this topic, about bug bites, bee stings, allergies related to them, and how our product is helping combat that. We're very customer focused, and they're the pivotal part of this brand. So what can we do to get them excited and support and offer them other products? Our customers tell us the next 10 products that they want under our brand. So that's what we have in the works, and that's what we're working on over here at Bug Bite Thing.
It started with a bug bite and a mother's desire to help her child who was in pain. It started with a question and a teacher's drive to solve problems and give answers. Instead of resigning herself to the subpar products on the market, Kelley Higney decided to try and solve a seemingly impossible situation by herself. And in doing so, she solved so much more than one itchy bite. She not only found relief for her daughter, she also found her own entrepreneurial path, one that uniquely blends her business background and her motivation to bring people innovative solutions to everyday problems. She found inspiration in the most mundane moment and turned it into an exploding business. And she's just scratching the surface of what's possible. The Journey is created by Mission.org and sponsored by UPS. To learn more about the show or mission, visit mission.org. And to learn more about how UPS can help your business, visit ups.com/pivot.